What's going on, guys? Back at you guys with another presentation. How's everybody doing today? In this presentation, I'm going to talk to you guys about as people age, the shallow mentality does not change. Somebody wanted me to make a presentation talking about this, and I feel this would be a good presentation to talk about on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday. The shallow mentality of people never changes, guys. Even after middle school, even after high school, the mindset of people never changes. People still keep the same mentality that they had. You know? The same shallow mentality that people had in middle school, in high school, it never goes away even when people get older. Because I used to think that, a lot changes in people as they age, but a lot does not change as people age. I mean, true, you get older, you get older, but I'm just saying the mentality of people, it never changes. Like that same high school mentality, that same shallow high school mindset, it doesn't change as people get old. It doesn't. That same mentality that people had when they was in middle school, when they was in high school, it stays the same the older that they get. Matter of fact, it starts to get worse because the older that people get, they have more expectations of people. You're expected to have more things in place the older that you get. So really, the expectations become even greater the older that you get. And this high school mentality is a real sad mentality. This is why you have women who might be 30 something, might be 40 something years old, and they still got that same youthful mentality. Their mentality has not changed at all. Mentality has not changed at all. The only thing that's changed is that they're older and they're not young no more. That's the only thing that has changed. They older, they not young anymore. But that same shallow, immature mindset that people had in their youthful days, that same mentality carries over into their adult days. It's no different. And I feel the person who told me to talk about this presentation, they gave me a good idea because people really don't change. I mean, the only thing that changes is the fact you're getting older and you're getting closer to the grave the older that you get. But the mindset of people, their philosophy, their outlook on life, it never changes. Their mindset never changes. This is why you have people who are 30 something years old, 40 something years old, and they still stuck in the same box. Still stuck in the same box. And what's so rough about getting older is because, like my father told me, when you're young and you don't have nothing, people give you a pass. But when you're old and you don't have things in place, people think you're stupid and dumb too. So that's the pressure that's on you the older that you get. And the older you get, you start acquiring more, because the older you get, your health is not going to always be in the most tip-top shape. This is why the older you get, you have to start maintaining the things you consume. Today, I had me a vegetable lo mein. I had some jalapeno chicken in it with vegetables in the lo mein. Because I told you guys that I'm doing my best to incorporate more vegetables in my diet and trying to eat more healthy, which I am. And I feel like I'm doing a good job of that. Incorporating more vegetables and just eating more healthy. And that's why I like doing vegetable lo mein. I try to come up with creative ideas to consume vegetables. Because let's be honest, a lot of people don't like eating vegetables. But you know what's motivating me to eat them veggies? Losing that flab and losing that flab. Yep, getting that ironing board stomach. Because I told myself, I'm not even trying to get six pack abs. If I could just get an ironing board stomach, that's all I need is an ironing board stomach. I don't need six pack abs. You know, I ain't got to have all that. You know? But yeah, guys, that's as the point I was making. The older you get, the more you're going to acquire. You know, because you got to start watching things the older you get. But I had to come to terms and understand myself that the mentality of people, it doesn't change the older that they get. And I feel like the older you get, people start judging you even more harshly because it's like you're a full grown adult now. And if you don't have certain things, people look at you like you're freaking crazy, especially at a certain age. So what I had to understand is that the mentality of people, it should change the older that they get, but the mindset of a lot of people does not change the older that they get. This is why you see men who are 40, 50 years old rapping. They wear their pants off their behind. They got a do-rag and a baseball cap on their head. They might be 40, 50 something years old, but mentally they have not elevated. Mentally they have not evolved. They have not evolved mentally. They have not. They still stuck at 15. And I had to come to terms and understand that, you know, um, the only thing that changes with people is age and your body. Your body's breaking down day by day. You know, your body's going to change the older you get, no matter how much you try to take care of yourself. That's the only thing that's changing. A lot of people's mentality never changes. And I think that's sad because I feel with age, I mean, you would think you would start growing mentally. You would think, you know, especially the older you get. But some people never elevate. This is why you have men who, because I always found it odd that you have men who are in their 40s and 50s who still trying to keep it gangster. They still hollering about they are real ninja and, you know, they still trying to be gangsters and they way up in age. They're not YNs. These dudes are 40, 50 some years old walking around with a Paul Pierce jersey on in a do-rag like they did in the 2000s. And you like, dang, this dude 50 some years old and he acting like this because the mentality never changes. A lot of people's mindset never changes the older they get. You know, people don't change. The only thing that changes is the year and your age. That's the only thing that changes with people. And I just think it's sad that even with age, people don't evolve. Because I feel personally with age, you're supposed to develop new interests, a new philosophy on life. Your mentality is not supposed to stay the same that it was when you was 18. I mean, if you 45 and your mentality is the same that it was when you was 18, that is a serious problem. But you got people like that. You got dudes who 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and they still got the mentality of a 15, 16-year-old. The only thing that's changed was their age and the year. Mentally, they didn't evolve. You want to make sure you're growing mentally as well, the older that you get. You want to make sure you're elevating yourself mentally in some kind of way. You want to make sure of that. And that's what I had to learn. You don't just want to age in numbers. You want to age, you know, in experiences and in accomplishments as well, and mentally. But unfortunately, I had to realize that, you know, even as you age, The mental of people never changes. Let me know what you guys think about this. Talk to you later. Peace.